Why did people give enough money to the author of these rubich red books that she could afford to pay for several years of PlayStation Network subscriptions or buy a bunch of fucking video games, but I got nothing for my James Grider novel? Okay, at the start of the book, the author goes on for 60 pages about the main character's extended family history. I can imagine if Relic started out this way, and how fucking laughable it would be. Let's say for 60 pages before any story starts, it went into Pendergast's family history for no logical reason other than the author had some kind of obsessive-compulsive disorder to lay out all the points of reference. Okay, they do that eventually, but they do that through dialogue, and they wait until the 7th book to do that, where it was appropriate to the story, and they set up a scene where it makes sense, not just an exposition dump at the very start of the book, like it is in Rubich Red. It wasn't in the Relic because such a background shit was irrelevant there. At least by the 7th book they crafted a proper scene for it, and it bears some relevance or some scant relevance to the story. So in Rubich Red, the main character has genetics to time travel that are passed down through the family, but instead of showing it happen, they literally just tell you in the very beginning that she can do it. I don't read such a trash books as this, and never will, because they are awful, but I will still review them and judge them negatively. I did say that I will occasionally find some young adult romance novel, and I will look up 1-star reviews for it, and I will bitch about why is it that they have sold more than my book when they are inferior to me and they have all these flaws as pointed out in 1-star reviews. This woman could probably buy a new house with the money she made off these books. To be fair, there is one review that is directed at this book that can apply to mine as well. I have never read a book that takes so long to get on with the story, describing everything in the room, or going over the same subject over and over. The only thing I don't do is describe everything in the room. But when it comes to political subjects, how can I be sure if I am getting my point of view across, unless I make it very thorough and go on for several pages? Now, the reason my book takes so long to get on with the story is because I put a bunch of incidents in the beginning of the book that have nothing to do with the plot, that I simply thought would be amusing to depict. While being amusing, they also help expose James Grider's personality. So there is that can be said about it as bearing some relevance to the story. Let's take a similar example from the movie Shark Exorcist. There is one scene in this movie where this chick is sunbathing on a cloudy day and some random creepy guy is watching her. She falls asleep and he creeps up and he starts moving slowly around her, taking pictures of her body with his phone. Then he walks away and she doesn't know this guy took pictures of her body. It has absolutely nothing to do with the plot of the movie. There is no logical reason to include this in the movie, but do you know why they did? because they thought it would be funny to depict something like that for shock value. Let's say in my novel, Carmela falls asleep on the beach, and then I write that some creep walked up and took pictures of her in a bikini, and she had no idea, and then the creep walks away. It will have zero to do with the plot, but do you know why I would put it in? Because I would think that it's funny. So that's kind of why my book is 1,000 pages long. There is a chapter in my book that describes James shopping for supplies that could have been summarized. But see, the thing is, it's hard to predict how long it will make your book when you start detailing certain scenes. Professionally written novels that I read will skip past a lot of things or summarize events that aren't crucial for the readers to experience in detail. But because I don't have editors, I end up structuring certain elements of the story incorrectly. It's like building a building and maybe creating some redundant rooms or corridors or staircases. The building is still functional, but a lot of work could have been saved by making the building more compact and have it still be just as functional, but it would have meant you don't have to walk as far to get from point A to point B in the building. But so what? I am just one person. I still deserve to be rewarded. I need to pay for a PlayStation Network subscription. I want a jacket. I want video games. I want a car. Look at how stupid this is. Ruby red, emerald green, sapphire blue, shit brown. It doesn't even mean anything, I bet. Write some more sequels with different colored gemstones for titles, bitch. Go ahead, write some more sequels with different colored gemstones for titles. I will probably need a new mouse. Sometimes I click once and the mouse sends out a signal as if there was a double click, and that can cause problems and make things annoying. I bet the Ruby Red writer could afford a mouse with the money she made off her books.